2019 and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this public meeting of the Lawrence City Council for the City of Lawrence, Massachusetts is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance by members of the public will be permitted, but the public can listen and or view this meeting while in progress by the use of Facebook, YouTube, and the web access that has been previously provided. Members of the public attending this meeting virtually will be allowed to make comments if they wish to do so during the portion of public hearings designated for public comments by the use of web and phone access provided below. Mr. Councilors, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome Richard Reyes in his capacity as acting city clerk. Mr. Clerk.
How you doing, everybody?
Welcome.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Roll call?
Yes.
Okay. Councilor Stella Reyes.
Present.
Councilor Anna Levy. Councilor Anna Levy. Councilor Selena Reyes. Councilor David Abdul.
Present.
Hello, everyone.
Councilor Pavel Payano.
Present.
Councilor Maria de la Cruz.
Present.
Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez.
Present.
Councilor Mark LaPlante.
Present.
And Council President Candice Vasquez.
My vote is present. Councilors, please join me for a moment of silence. Thank you. Now please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America.
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, councilors. Moving on with the agenda. Councilors, please note that in the absence of former clerk Maloney, I have asked for some additional help in order to be able to continue, the work both in the city clerk's office and all the work that the city council has to accomplish. As you can see, assistant clerk Richard Reyes has now been named acting city clerk for the city and will be assisting us at that capacity. I've also asked former councilor Eileen Bernal to join us temporarily. She has stressed that she will help us for 90 days, and she wanted me to ensure that that was mentioned in the capacity of the clerk of the clerk. I don't know if that even makes. But the idea is that she will handle the city council's portion of the clerk's responsibility on a temporary basis, while Richard will conduct more of the day-to-day operation of the council of the clerk's office. In order to do that, as all of you are aware, former councilor Bernal is a city employee, and it is important that we disclose this information and that the council, if we wish as a body to move forward with this, she's presenting a new document for us to take into consideration as an emergency matter to allow her to serve both, on a temporary basis, per diem for, the city council as the minute taker, as the, person that will be assisting us on any legal concerns that arise in the next 3 months, while Richard, on the other end, will do the other clerk's responsibility. So, Councilor Bernal will only focus on our minutes and legality and procedural questions. Richard, on the other end, will do everything else that the clerk process entails. I hope that makes sense. And if that's the case, we have a document which is a disclosure of municipal employee Eileen Bernal, document number 26420. Is there a motion to suspend our rule, suspend essentially Rule 12 to declare this item as an emergency?
So move. Second.
So the motion is to declare as an emergency at this point. So it's been made by
De la Cruz.
Councilor De La Cruz, and it was seconded by
Selena Reyes.
Selena Reyes. Okay, you get that, Mr. Clerk? Okay, so moving on. Any discussion? Seeing
Rich-
there's
Listening.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Richard is not listening, he said. He cannot hear us.
Richard, can you hear us?
Yeah, very low though. I hear you guys very low.
Okay, so I'll speak a little louder. So it's any discussion?
No.
Seeing there's none, all those in favor to declare the item an emergency, please say aye. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Council
Thank
Mark
you, Council
LaPlante.
Vice President LaPlante.
Council Vice President LaPlante.
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez.
Yes.
Council Maria De La Cruz.
Yes.
Council Pavel Payano.
Yes.
Council David Abdu.
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Council Anna Levy is absent. Council Stella Reyes.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Proof.
My vote. My vote is yes.
Yes.
So the motion carries. Councilors, is there a motion to approve document 26420, which is a disclosure by municipal employee Eileen Bernal?
Motion to approve, what is the number?
26420.
26420.
Second.
Second.
Motion has been made by Councilor Estela Reyes. It has been seconded by Councilor Maria de la Cruz. Any discussion? Seeing there's none.
Mr. President, just one question.
Councilor Payano?
Thank you. Has that document been sent to us?
So the document, she is literally submitting it as we speak now. So I have, I think that I have the copy, and Richard has a copy that has been submitted to him. He could easily send it to us via email. But it's a disclosure of municipal employee. So it's a form that states essentially her name, the position that she holds now, and the task that she will be doing with us.
All right. Thank you. I have no problem voting on this now, but if that could just be forwarded to us, just for our own records, that'd be great. Thank you, sir.
Definitely. Fantastic. So, Mr. Clerk, whenever you have the opportunity, please ensure that we get a copy of it.
Sure.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Okay. Council Stella Reyes.
Yes.
Council Anna Levy.
Present.
Council Anna Levy.
Present.
Just for purpose of clarification, Councilor Levy, are you voting present for the meeting or present for document 26420?
So, okay, I just joined it right now. Sorry, that is what I voted present. So,
Okay. So
were we discussing? Okay, were we discussing something right now? No.
yes. So it's okay. So so if you want, I can explain. Well, we're already in the middle of the vote, so essentially we're not even engaged in the discussion.
Probably.
So essentially, this is not a roll call vote for attendance. It's a roll call vote for a motion that has been presented by Councilor Reyes and Councilor Maria de la Cruz. If you're voting, I just want to make sure that your vote, that you understand what you're voting for. If you feel you want to vote present for the document, the motion, it's fine, but it's not for the attendance that you're voting for at this point.
That is why I just voted present, because I don't know what
Okay,
he was talking or what he was discussing, right now, because I joined it.
fantastic.
No.
No, thank you, Councilor Levy. Mr. Clerk,
Okay.
please mark it as such.
Do the roll call again?
Yeah, mark Councilor Levy as present for the vote on 264.
And her vote was yes on that, correct?
No, Councilor Levy is voting present on that vote.
Okay.
You may continue.
Council Selena Reyes? I didn't hear, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I have a lot, difficult, I don't know what is the motion or what is the proposal. Because I can hear what you say.
The motion is by Councilor Estela Reyes, second by Councilor Maria de la Cruz, to approve document 26420, which is a new document presented by former Councilor Eileen Bernal to disclose as a municipal employee that she works currently for the city of Lawrence, and that she will be assisting the city council for 90-day period in as the minute taker for the city council, and assist us in any procedural questions that may arise during the process.
Vote yes.
You may continue, Mr. Clerk.
Council David Abdul?
Yes.
Council Carol Payano?
Yes.
Council Maria de la Cruz?
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez?
Yes.
Council Marshall Plant? Vice President?
Yes.
Council President Candace Vasquez?
Yes. The motion carries. Thank you very much. Welcome, Councilor Bernal. Welcome back. We appreciate your support.
Thank you, Council President.
Moving on, we have public participation. Please note that anyone that wishes to address the council will have 2.5 minutes to speak. When I notify you the first time, that means that you've spoken for 2 minutes. When I notify you a second time, that means that your time is up. When addressing the council, please identify yourself with your name and address for the record. Do not address any individual councilors, address the city council as a whole. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to be heard?
Humayun Mali, 53 Chester Street. Good evening, honorable members. In this great global pandemic, Lawrence always is strong. Lawrence always is strong and unite. We demand of you support our police department in this last year of the pandemic and the last year of Mayor Rivero's service. We demand of you contract for our police officers and support of their union. Our senior officers and the leadership of Honorable Chief Roy Vass has done an excellent job to provide safety for our citizens. Lawrence always #1. In these sad days of the pandemic, we see and witness our DPW worker working so hard. We must support DPW leadership and the union. Our public school in this worst pandemic of the century moving forward. Honorable Superintendent Cynthia Paris, in this hard time, try to establish remote learning for Lawrence children. In this global pandemic, we are united to support our police officers union, contract for Lawrence police, firefighters, and our teachers union. As we pray for our well-being of our fellow human and citizen, we are united to say, God bless United States and God bless our city. Lawrence always is strong. Lawrence always unite. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mali. Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to be heard? Seeing there's none, public participation is now closed. Now moving on to public hearings. We have document 11420, no parking Franklin Street near the alleyway between Tremont and Green Streets. It was placed on the agenda by Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez. Please read the notice.
Thank you, Council President. The notice for document number 11420 is notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, December 1st, 2020 at 7 p.m. at a public meeting conducted by electronic means with public viewing, listening, participation, and input provided remotely in compliance with public gathering limits in effect. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinance of the City of Lawrence, and further amended by adding the following new paragraph, Section 10.13-10 of the Municipal Code, parking prohibited on certain streets at all times, to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Franklin Street, west side, from a point 112 feet northerly of Tremont Street to a point 132 feet northerly of Tremont Street. To the extent that there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to be heard? Seeing there's none, councilors, what's your motion?
Motion to approve and waive the 30 days, but I guess that Officer Cano was here to talk on that. I mean, I don't know if he's available.
Officer Cano?
Good evening, councilors.
Officer Cano, just give me 1 minute. Is there a second? And then we'll entertain a discussion. And you can speak. Is it properly second? You may go ahead, officer.
Thank you, councilors. Good evening, everyone. I appreciate your time on this matter. I do know that Mr. John Saber, who is the property owner at that location, is on. I think he did want to say something, but I think anyway, regarding this particular issue, I think that it is important for us to be able to amend or give way to allow for the trash compactor, the truck that goes by to collect the trash, to that large building to be able to do so from the alleyway. And what's happening is that residents in that neighborhood are blocking access. It's a one-way street. Both sides of the street are being used as parking for vehicles. And when the trash truck enters, it's very difficult for it to back back into the street in a safe manner. So that's the reason why this is being proposed and asked on behalf of the property owner, so that his trash can be collected for the residents there of 159 Tremont Street. I have been in consultation with Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez as well as the city engineer, and we did come up with a proposed, I'm short for words, but basically the idea is to be able to give access to parking as well as for the access to the alleyway in a safe way. I'll let Councilor Giovanni speak about the distance.
Yes, thank you.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Well, essentially, we have this situation that the trash on that property, which is is one of the largest property around. They were not, the fact that they're commercial, the city is not picking up the trash for them, and they need to hire a third party to be able to come over and pick up the trash on that location. So essentially, when the truck come out, they're not able to get in and get out of that alleyway because of the fact that the alleyway is very narrow. And what we're doing essentially is actually prohibiting parking 10 feet away from each side of that alleyway, and that way once anybody can use the alleyway properly. Especially this situation, we're going to be solving the situation of the trash picked up on that location, and essentially this is going to be a solution for a for this for that specific building, but more precisely for the whole area in general, because we're talking about public health and the trash not being picked up for weeks. That could bring other issues that we don't want to deal with. And I'm very satisfied with us be able to come up with a solution, talking with the neighbors, talking with the entire neighborhood around, and specifically people that are voters. And we actually come up with the idea of being able to find a solution for that specific issue, and we happy about it.
Thank you, Councilor Rodriguez. I believe Mr. Saba also wishes to be heard.
I do. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. All right. Well, thank you very much, councils. I appreciate you allowing me a little time to speak. And, you know, the situation over there has been a real problem for me, you know, ever since the city stopped picking up trash. It never used to be a problem because we used to wheel the trash out to the sidewalk. But, you know, and that's out of necessity. I understand the city can't pick up, and we had to get dumpsters. But in that location, it really requires a 4-yard dumpster. But I can't get one anywhere in there because, you know, of such a tight space. I have a limited space on the side of my building in the back where I can get a 2-yard dumpster that allows me to get 2 pickups a week. And what's been happening is when the truck comes, and it's usually early in the morning, so people have parked there overnight, the truck can't make that swing in. And even when they come and they don't pick up, I still have to pay for it. And this has been going on for months and months and months. And it's every single week that I can't get a pickup. Sometimes I can get one, sometimes 2 days goes by that whole week and I can't get a pickup. And just last week, I asked the dumpster company to come out. I met them out there. We loaded that dumpster 3 times to get rid of all the trash that we had piled up. And then again, on Friday, the truck couldn't get in there. And then again, Monday, the truck couldn't get in there today. So now I'm backed up again on trash in just that short period of time. So I do understand for some people, it could be a hardship taking away some parking spots there. And I get that, and I'm sympathetic to that. But, you know, as Councilor Rodriguez correctly pointed out, that, you know, this is a serious problem if we have trash building up, you know, with rodents and so forth. So I really appreciate everybody, you know, helping me out on this. And I think this would be a good solution. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sala. Councilors, have any other questions or comments?
Council President.
Council Vice President LaPlante.
I just out of curiosity, is this in District D, which is Councilor Rodriguez's district?
Correct.
Thank you. So I just, one of those things is he knows that district better than I do. I'm going to support him on this. I just, one of the things I was curious about, since it's an alleyway, were there any discussions regarding alleyway rights and being able to access that alleyway, and what could be done to maybe use that land that beneficial to either Mr. Saba or the other people who are partial owners of the alleyways that are abutters? Did that conversation come up at all?
That if I might, Mr. President, that alleyway is one of, thank you. That alleyway is one of the few alleyways that is owned by the city of Lawrence. That's full of utilities. You have electrical, have sewer, and so far so on. So that's one of the few out of the I believe 197 alleyways that we have in the city. Only I believe 13 or a little bit over 10 the city owns, if I'm correct. So, and that's one of the alleyways that are owned by the city.
Thank you.
Councilors, any other questions or comments? Seeing there's none, roll call, please.
Who do you call first? My name?
Roll call, please.
He's muted.
Okay, got it. Okay, sorry about that. Council Stella Reyes,
Yes.
Council Ana Levy,
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Council David Abdul,
Yes.
Council Pavel Periano,
Yes.
Council Maria de la Cruz,
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice President Mark LaPlante,
Yes.
Council President Candace Vasquez.
Yes, the motion carries. Now moving on, we have document 19020. It's a handicap parking to be deleted at 101, 103 Olive Ave, was placed on the agenda by Councilor Levy. Councilor Renal, please read the notice.
Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, December 1, 2020 at 7 p.m. at a public meeting conducted by electronic means with public viewing, listening, participation, and input provided remotely in compliance with public gathering limitations in effect. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence to be further amended by deleting the following paragraph to section 10.36.340 of the Municipal Code, handicap parking. Olive Avenue, north side, from a point 70 feet easterly of the intersection of Middlebury Street to a point 90 feet easterly of the intersection of Middlebury Street. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to be heard? Seeing there's none, public hearing is now closed. Councilors, what's your motion?
Motion to approve?
Motion has been made and it has been properly seconded by Councilor Ana Levy. Any discussion? Seeing there's none, Mr. Clerk, roll call, please. Mr. Clerk, you're muted.
Okay. Vice President Mark LaPlante,
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez, Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez,
Yes.
Council Maria de la Cruz,
Yes.
Council Pavel Periano,
Yes.
Council David Abdul,
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Didn't hear her.
Yes.
Okay. Council Ana Levy
Yes.
and Council Stella Reyes.
Yes.
And then President Council Candace Vasquez.
Yes, the motion carries. Moving on, we have document 19720. Fiscal year 2021 property tax classification public hearing. It was placed on the agenda by Alexi Vega, our chief assessor. Please read the notice, Councilor Bernal.
Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, December 1st, 2020 at 7 p.m. at a public meeting conducted by electronic means with public viewing, listening, participation, and input provided remotely in compliance with public gathering limitations in effect. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed approval of a split tax rate, which shifts the tax burden between residential, open space properties, and commercial, industrial, and personal property classes for FY 2021 in order to establish the residential and commercial tax rates for the city of Lawrence, Massachusetts. Interested taxpayers are encouraged to present information by appearing at the public hearing. Written comment and information may be submitted on this matter. Please forward any written comments to the office of the city clerk, 200 Common Street, room 107, Lawrence, Mass. 01840, on or before 4:30 p.m. on Tuesday, December 1, 2020. Persons wishing to be heard on this matter shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to be heard? Seeing there's none, public hearing is now closed. Councilors, is there a
Council
motion?
President, first of all, I'd like to make a motion that we had a committee meeting on this. The budget committee met and set this up to the full council without a recommendation. So I just want to make that part of the record. So that's my motion, just a committee report, no recommendation.
Okay. It has been, there's a motion to be approved as a committee report, to accept as a committee report. It has been properly second. Any discussion? Seeing there's none, Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Council Stella Reyes,
Yes.
Council Ana Levy,
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Council David Abdul,
Yes.
Council Pavel Payano,
Yes.
Council Maria de la Cruz,
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice President Marco Plant,
Yes.
and Council President Candace Vasquez.
My vote is yes. The motion carries. Councilors, is there a motion for this document?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt Factor 175 for the purposes of discussion.
There's a motion on the floor for discussion purposes. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been properly second. Mr. Clerk, the motion on the floor by Councilor LaPlante is a factor of 1.75. Okay, discussion, Mr. Vice President.
Yeah, so I know that the chief assessor is with us this evening, and if he can just give us a quick overview of this, I think that it'll be helpful for the people that I represent and for myself to review just that information one more time.
Okay, so we do have a PowerPoint presentation that he could provide us, Chief Assessor, whenever you're ready. We are ready for you.
All right, can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, excellent, thank you. Thank you, Council President. So every year around this time, we put together a packet for the city councilors to have more information on making a decision on the tax factor in order to determine the tax rate. This tax classification can only happen after the DOR certifies the city's values, and we are in line with full and fair cash market value of all real estate, residential, commercial, industrial, and personal property values. The DOR makes sure that this hearing is being conducted publicly and with strict guidelines. So this is your chance, councilors, to adopt the factors so that we can move forward in presenting the tax rate to the DOR for certification and getting our bills out on January 1. So the purpose of the hearing is to gather information so that you councilors can make an informed decision based on the budget that you passed in June. We put this package together, and you'll see many detailed information on what took place throughout the full calendar year of 2019, which is the basis for our valuation for FY21. In order for you to determine a shift, you would have to know certain guidelines. If you choose not to shift the tax burden, there would be a single tax rate. The city of Lawrence has adopted a rate for many years that splits that tax burden amongst the 4 classes of property. The maximum you can shift the tax burden is 1.75, which is what Councilor Plant just indicated prior to this presentation being heard. So for interim year FY21, the DOR mandates that the city of Lawrence use every single sale that's arm's length in calendar year 2019. So that was our basis for our reassessment for this year. Overall, the valuation for the city of Lawrence grew from $4.8 billion to $5.2 billion. That is an indication that the market in the city of Lawrence is very healthy. There's a lot of new construction out there, and we'll get into detail on the new growth in a few minutes. So overall, the assessed values of single-family residential classes, which is single families, condos, 3 families, grew 8.7%. The commercial tax base grew 3.7%. The industrial grew slightly at 1.1%, and I'll get into detail on the 1.1%. And the personal property grew again for the second year in a row, 20%, and that's attributable to the Columbia Gas work that has been done in the last couple of years. In the city of Lawrence, single-family homes for FY21 increased 6.4% from 264,000 in FY20 to 281,000 in FY21. You can see year over year, the values of single-family homes and residential properties have increased significantly. This slide here indicates a 3-year value comparison, and you'll see that property values for the last 3 years have increased across the board. So this is a great thing for the city of Lawrence. If you're a property owner in the city of Lawrence, doesn't matter if you're buying or selling. If you own a home, you definitely have some serious equity. And if you're selling it in the market, you know, you're doing well for yourself. So the bottom of the screen here, you'll see the total value of the city of Lawrence grew from $4.2 billion to $4.8 billion, and again to $5.2 billion, an 8.5% increase overall. The taxing levy capacity in the city of Lawrence also has grown significantly. The levy is the amount of money you raise through taxation every year. So it was $70 million in FY19, grew to 74 million in 2020, and 79 million in 2021. And this signifies the budget that you folks have passed year after year. So the levy, we just explained it very briefly. It's the amount of money you raise through taxation. You can raise the levy amount by 2 ways. One is by Proposition 2.5, which was voted by the taxpayers in 1980, and it's used on the recap. So for FY21, the maximum tax levy of Proposition 2.5 you can raise is $2 million. And you're wondering, well, why are we raising in excess of $5 million from 1 year over the next? It's because there's another allowable methodology that you can use in order to raise the levy amount, and that is new growth. New growth is new construction, tax property that has fallen back onto the tax rolls, so exempt parcels that the city of Lawrence has sold, land, nonprofits that built properties and sold them off to taxable entities. So that's a basis for our new growth, and also personal property equipment. As I mentioned earlier, Columbia Gas did a tremendous amount of work, not just in South Lawrence, but in North Lawrence, and that boosted our personal property totals. So on the bottom here, you'll see a breakdown of the 4 classes of property. The residential, the new growth value increased $46 million. So what we do in order to determine how much money you can additionally raise in taxes each year, we multiply the prior year's taxes by that valuation. So for the residential side, we were able to raise an additional $580,000. On the commercial industrial, again, $13 million, and the commercial industrial new growth was attributable to the TIF, the tax increment finance agreements that councilors you have voted in the past and have matured year after year. So that's a great thing that these properties are going to come onto the tax rolls, and that boosted our new growth amount by an additional $362,000. The personal property is, again, new equipment or new accounts added to the tax roll, or pre-existing personal property businesses that purchase new equipment. And this is a significant number. It's $79 million in valuation. Again, about $60 million of that was Columbia Gas, and the other higher telecommunication companies, Verizon, Comcast, and those are the utility companies that, again, added new equipment to their property. And that again added $2 million this year for a combined total of $3 million. That combined with Proposition 2.5 shows you how much the levy has increased from prior years of $5 million plus. This slide indicates the tax base growth year over year. This is a 10-year projection here, and you can see that last 2 years have been significant for the city of Lawrence. From $3,074,000, it was much higher the prior year. That's when most of the Columbia Gas equipment was actually taxable because we had to use anything that happened in calendar year 2018. This year, it was also significant, was $3 million. So just an average of those 2 years, you're looking at basically $3.6 to $3.7 million. But if you take the average of the last 8 years, it was about $1.5 to $1.6 million. So I see that trend going down for FY22. So we can project a lot lower numbers moving forward and getting back to our normalcy of roughly $1.5 million that we'll use to project the budget for next year. Slide number 8 shows you if this classification hearing were not to take place and you adopt a single rate for across the board for the residential, commercial, industrial, personal property taxpayers, the tax bill per thousand would be $15.10. So basically what the assessors would do would take the overall valuation that's taxable for of the city of Lawrence is $5.2 billion and divide that number by the levy amount, which is $79 million, and we come up with a tax rate of $15. So if we were to use the $15, that is a significant hike on the tax bills for the residential taxpayers. There would be a huge burden on each property. So roughly, a single rate would probably increase a tax bill for a single-family homeowner by $800 in 1 year. So prudent new folks to continue to adopt a factor so we can have a split rate for FY21 and moving forward. This is the history of the city of Lawrence's tax levy amount and the shifts that the councilors have adopted year over year since 2004. And you can see in this column here, it's been the maximum, pretty much the maximum shift that you are allowed by law to adopt in order to see the biggest impact for a residential homeowners who are the ones that are pretty much live here in the city of Lawrence and are the folks that are the most needy. So it's a factor of 175 reduces your tax rate for the residential to $12.28. In later slides, you'll see the difference of what the impact will be. And it also reduced the tax rate of the commercial, industrial, personal property side. This is one of the forms that we submit to the state. We're mandated to do so, and this is basically the formula we use, mandated to use in order to determine what the levy limit will be year after year. So moving on to FY 2020, in the middle column, you'll see that the basis of our levy limit was $80 million. Okay, that was figured by using the prior year's levy amount of $74 million. So combining Proposition 2.5 plus new growth and amended new growth. The amended new growth is a very small number. It was omitted assessments that were added to the tax rolls after the fact. Some personal property accounts came onto the tax rolls that we missed during our billing, and we added them to the tax rolls. So the total amount that you can possibly raise for FY21 is $85 million, and that's by law. However, the city of Lawrence has chosen to not raise to the maximum amount, and only raising, not only, but you are raising a significant amount of money here, is you're not using the entire levy and limit. You're raising only $79 million, which leaves on the table $6 million of excess levy capacity for FY21, and that number stays there until the future, if something happens and the city has to raise more additional funds. You can tap into these that excess levy capacity, and that's allowable by DOR. The average single-family homeowner in the city of Lawrence has paid an historical rate, the lowest in the state. I sent the councilors an email this afternoon showing the difference of the Essex County average tax bills, and we are significantly the lowest tax bill in the Essex County and very low in the state average. So year over year, you can see a slight increase of the tax burden of the residential single-family homeowners throughout the city of Lawrence. So this year, the average tax bill would be $3,460, and the average assessment is $281,800. Here are the tax shifts, and this is the meats and potatoes of what you folks are going to be voting on this afternoon. If you were to adopt a factor, I've only chosen 5. We've never gone less than 171 in the other slide, so it was prudent of me just to minimize this presentation. So I put together 5 different tax shifts, so you can see that once you deviate from the maximum shift of 175, the tax burden is shifted to the residential single-family homeowners, the condo, the 2s and the 3s, and the impact and the burden is relieved from the commercial industrial homeowner property owners. So a factor of 170 is an increase of $221. Factor of 171 shifts the burden less by $11. Each time we vote a different factor, it's roughly about $11. So for a factor of 171, the tax increase would be raised by $210. Factor of 172, it's $198. Again, you'll see roughly $11 difference. Factor of 173 is $187 increase. Factor of 174 is $179. And again, you'll see the difference in the commercial, it's $99. And the residential for single-family homeowners, which is the least burden that we will all see for single-family homeowners, is $168 on average. And the commercial will see an increase of $169 and industrial of $425. This slide here, number 18, shows you one summary of all those factors. So if you want to revert to this slide when discussing a factor to make it easy for everybody visually, that would be great. Again, you'll see the impact on 168 for a factor of 175, which Councilor Plant made a recommendation on, and the tax burden for a commercial would be $169. This is a timeline in order for us to set a tax rate, send a tax recap to the state in order for the DOR to certify our tax rate so we can send out our tax bills timely. So the last slide indicates that this is the City Council meeting. By the time we're done and put into the CAFO and our comptroller, Mark Anello puts the recap together, we'll be able to submit the recap timely to the state, and if everything goes smoothly, I know they've been busy due to COVID, we'll get our tax rate certified by December 8th and our tax bills out timely by January 1. That is mandated that we send these bills, the third quarter bills, by January 1. If we don't do that, then technically you cannot send out any tax bills. You would have to wait till April 1 to send both bills and do a double billing on April 1 due May 1. So it's very important that this factor takes place tonight so we can get our tax bills done timely. So I'll be present here if you have any questions. I'll take the presentation down and we can have a discussion.
Thank you very much, Chief Assessor. Councilors, have any questions at this point? Any questions or comments?
I have a question.
Councilor de la Cruz?
Yes. Mr. Vega. Yeah, Mr. Vega.
Yes.
My question is, then the tax increase is going to be $12 per property? or it's going to be $12 for single families?
The tax rate for the residential properties is going to be $12.28, and the tax rate for the commercial industrial person property
Per
would be
every house.
$26.42.
Per every 1,000.
Per every 1,000, correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing there's none, Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilor Vice President Marco Plant,
Yes.
Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilor Maria de la Cruz,
Yes.
Councilor Pavel Payano,
Yes.
Councilor David Abdu,
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Anna Levy,
Yes.
Councilor Stella Reyes,
Yes.
and Council President Candace Vasquez.
My vote is yes, the motion carries. Thank you. Now moving on, the agenda, we have document 24920. It's a request to prohibit trucks on Marston Street. Councilor Bernal, please read the notice.
The notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, December 1, 2020 at 7 p.m. at a public meeting conducted by electronic means with public viewing, listening, participation, and input provided remotely in compliance with public gathering limitations in effect. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence, to be further amended by adding the following new paragraph to section 10.28.120 of the Municipal Code: commercial vehicles prohibited at all times, to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Mason Street, entire length. To the extent that there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Thank you. Public hearing is now open. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to be heard? Seeing there's none, public hearing is now closed. Councilors, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Councilor Levy.
I just only to clarify something. So this is the item 24920.
Correct.
Okay, but also in the appropriation, we had the same item for different things. 24920.
I'm not following the thought.
2019. The other one is 249-2020.
It's 24920 and 24920.
No, well, this one is 249-19. This is been put together last year.
Under appropriations down below, there is another, the same item as 24920. So there is a duplicate on the agenda.
Hold on.
Councilor Rodriguez.
This is 249-19.
Well, the agenda.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely a typo, Mr. Clerk. Okay. Let's correct it. That is 249-19. That is. Thank you for bringing it up, Councilor Levy.
You're welcome.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Council President, I have a question.
Yes.
Thank you, Council President. So, if I'm reading this motion correctly, is to prohibit trucks on Marston Street. The only worry I'm wondering if the proponents of this could talk a little bit about it, because the only worry I have is that I feel Marston Street is an exit off of 495, so I'm wondering how much use that exit has, and if we prohibit trucks from driving through it, how would impact our other entrance and exit points in the city.
Okay. Is there anyone else, anyone in the audience that wishes to address this concern?
Yes, if I might, Council President.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes, essentially this item was brought up to me at one point for with the issue. And what happened back then in 2018, 2019, and 2020, there has been a lot of construction going on Water Street. And what happened, all of the truck going through to go to Market Basket, go to the metal place that are on Medford Street, all of those trucks going to the industrial place, going around that area. They were cutting through the neighborhoods and they were cutting through Mason Street and essentially going through the project on Hunker Street and all those areas around, affecting the quality of life of all those people around Hancock Street and also Mason Street. Instead of going straight on Water Street, they actually use that Mason Street as a shortcut. And they've been very affected by all those trucks going through.
Let me make another point of clarification. So Mr. Clerk, please note that there's a mistake on the item. So the original item, it should be Mason Street, not Marston Street. Mason Street.
Should be Mason. Yeah.
Okay.
M-A-S-O-N.
Yes.
Okay. Councilor Rodriguez, I retract my question because my question was around Marston Street. Mason Street, you know, according to my recollection, it's a very small street in your district.
Yes.
And it's completely different than Marston Street, because Marston Street is, you know, it's basically it's an exit off of 495. That's why when you were mentioning Hancock Street, Market Basket, I'm like we're talking like that's Prospect Hill. But so I retract my question and thank you, Council President, for sort of rectifying that.
Councilors, any other questions or comments?
Quick question, Council President.
Council Vice President of Plan.
So this is District D in Councilor Rodriguez's district. Is that correct?
Correct.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay. Councilors, any other questions or comments? Seeing there's none. Mr. Clerk.
Council Stella Reyes,
Yes.
Council Ana Levy,
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Council David Abdul,
Yes.
Council Pavel Payano,
Yes.
Council Maria de la Cruz,
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Marco Plant,
Yes.
Council President Kendris Vasquez.
Yes, the motion carries.
Council President, just quick question, just to make sure. In the last motion, was there a motion made for it to be favorable?
Was it Councilor Levy?
I made the motion.
Okay. Yep. Just checking.
Okay.
Council President, just for that, I just want to make sure that we did something on the previous, on one of the previous items, 11420. I want to make sure that on the note, we have that we waive the 30 days on 11420.
Is there a motion to waive 30 days for document 11420?
That was part of the motion, Council President.
Okay. It's on the record.
We have that, yes.
Okay,
Council,
so it is part of
we
the
have
record.
that.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, we have document 25820. It's a loading zone parking in front of driveway of White House paint. Methuen Street. Okay, let me read that again. Loading zone parking in front of the driveway of White House paint. Methuen Street. Okay, that's the name of the business. Councilor, please read the notice.
Thank you, Council President. Just to note, there's a typo on your agenda. It's actually called White Street Paint, and that is a typo. And the public notice didn't mention it either way, so. It says notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, December 1, 2020 at 7 p.m. in a public meeting conducted by electronic means with public viewing, listening, participation, and input provided remotely in compliance with public gathering limitations in effect. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence to be further amended by adding the following new paragraph to section 10.36.330 (C) of the municipal code, parenthesis, bus stops, taxi cab stands, ambulance stands, and service zones, to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Methuen Street, south side from a point 20 feet easterly of the intersection of Broadway to a point 75 feet easterly to the intersection of Broadway. To the extent there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Thank you. Public hearing is now open. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to be heard? Seeing there's none, public hearing is now closed. Councilors, is there a motion?
Motion to approve and waive the 30 days.
Motion has been made, and it has been properly seconded. Was made by Councilor Rodriguez and second by Councilor Abdu, I believe. That seems correct. Any discussion?
Discussion?
I heard, was it Councilor Abdu discussion? Councilor Vice President?
Thank you. Just one more time. I don't even know. This is on Methuen Street. Whose district is that, Council President? What district is that?
Yes, Councilor LaPlante, this is my district. But let me tell you, you can actually talk on behalf of this if you want to. Just to make sure.
I'm sorry?
I'm good. Thank you.
No, just want to make sure.
Councilor Rodriguez? Okay, so let's move on. Any further questions or comments? Seeing there's none. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Council Vice President Marco Plant.
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez.
Of course, yes.
Council Maria de la Cruz.
Yes.
Council Pavel Priano.
Yes.
Council David Abdu.
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Council Anna Levy.
Yes.
Council Stella Reyes.
Yes.
And Council President Candace Vasquez.
Yes, the motion carries. Okay, moving on, we have appropriations, orders, and resolutions. We have appropriations which are for new filings. It's document 24520 is going down to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 24920 going down to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 25020, Budget and Finance Committee. Document 25120, Budget and Finance Committee. Document 25520, Budget and Finance Committee. Document 26220, Budget and Finance Committee. Document 26320, Budget and Finance Committee. Committee reports, Mr. Vice President and Chair of the Budget and Finance Committee.
Thank you very much, Council President.
Yep,
Yes.
Document 22020.
Thanks. This was sent up to the full council, a favorable recommendation. This is a request to expend grant funds for the Watermark Partner Community Grant of $15,000 and to make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion has been made by Council Vice President LaPlante. It has been seconded. It was either by Councilor Abdu or Councilor Stella Reyes.
You can give it to him. That's fine.
Councilor Abdu, any discussion? Seeing there's none. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Council Stella Reyes.
Yes.
Council Anna Levy.
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Council David Abdu.
Yes.
Council Pavel Priano.
Yes.
Council Maria de la Cruz.
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez.
Yes.
Council Vice President Marco Plant.
Yes.
And Council President Candace Vasquez.
My vote is yes, the motion carries. Moving on, we have document 23220. Mr. Chair, Vice President.
Thank you, Council President. This document was sent up to the full council with a favorable recommendation. This is the request to expand grant funds for the LSTA Citizens Corners and expanded English language services grant for $7,100 and make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Second.
Motion has been made. It has been properly second. Any discussion? Seeing there's none. Councilors? Mr. Clerk?
Councilor Vice President Marco Plant,
Yes.
Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilor Maria de la Cruz,
Yes.
Councilor Pavel Payano,
Yes.
Councilor David Abdu,
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Ana Levy,
Yes.
Councilor Stella Reyes,
Yes.
Council President Candace Vasquez.
My vote is yes, the motion carries. Moving on, we have document 23320. Mr. Vice President and Chair of the Budget and Finance Committee.
Thank you very much, Council President. This document was sent up to the full council with a favorable recommendation to accept the municipal vulnerability preparedness grant and to make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and it has been seconded by Councilor Estela Reyes. Any discussion? Seeing there's none, Mr. Clerk, roll call please.
Councilor Stella Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Ana Levy,
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Abdu,
Yes.
Councilor Payano,
Yes.
Councilor Maria de la Cruz,
Yes.
Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilor Marco Plant,
Yes.
Council President Candace Vasquez.
My vote is yes, the motion carries.
Yes, Council President,
Councilor Rodriguez.
just to clarify, that grant was for $213,418 for the record.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, we have document 23420. Mr. Chair and Vice President.
Thank you. Budget and Finance Committee sent this document up, which is the expenditure of the CARES Act CDBG CV3 grant for the sum of $935,531 and make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and it has been seconded by Councilor de la Cruz. Any discussion? Seeing there's none, Mr. Clerk, roll call please.
Councilor Vice President LaPlante,
Yes.
Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilor Maria de la Cruz,
Yes.
Councilor Pavel Payano,
Yes.
Councilor David Abdu,
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Ana Levy,
Yes.
and Councilor Stella Reyes,
Yes.
Council President Vasquez.
Yes. The motion carries. Moving on, we have document 23520. Mr. Vice President and Chair of the Budget and Finance Committee.
Thank you. And this document was sent up to the full council with a favorable recommendation, and that is the authorizing to expend the Gateway Housing Rehabilitation Program grant funds from DHCD for the sum of $230,959 and to make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and it has been properly seconded by Councilor de la Cruz. Is there any discussion? Seeing there's none, Mr. Clerk, roll call please.
Councilor Stella Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Ana Levy,
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor David Abdu,
Yes.
Councilor Pavel Payano,
Yes.
Councilor Maria de la Cruz,
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Marco Plant,
Yes.
and Council President Vasquez.
My vote is yes, the motion carries. Now moving on to the Ordinance Committee reports. We have document 15620. Madam Chair from the Ordinance Committee.
Thank you, Councilor President. Document 156-20 is a one-way Sunset Avenue has been put on the agenda by Councilor President. It come out with a favor recommendation to order a public hearing pending the city engineer report. And I make that as to order public hearing, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and it's been properly seconded by Councilor De La Cruz. Any discussion? Seeing there's none, Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Council Vice President LaPlante,
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez,
Yes.
Council Maria de la Cruz,
Yes.
Council Pavel Payano,
Yes.
Council Abdul,
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Council Ana Levy,
Yes.
Council Stella Reyes,
Yes.
and Council President Vasquez.
My vote is yes, the motion carries. Moving on, we have document 15720. Madam Chair from the Ordinance Committee.
Document 157-20, it has been sent up with favor recommendation to order a public hearing pending the city engineer report, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and it's been properly seconded by Councilor De La Cruz. Any discussion? Since there's none. Council Vice President LaPlante wants a discussion? No? Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Council Stella Reyes,
Yes.
Council Ana Levy,
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Council David Abdul,
Yes.
Council Pavel Payano,
Yes.
Council Maria de la Cruz,
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Marco Plant,
Yes.
and Council President Vasquez.
My vote is yes, the motion carries. Okay, moving on. We have document 15820. Madam Chair.
Document 158-20 has been sent up with favor recommendation to order a public hearing. It's a parking, 50-minute parking at 110 Parker Street at Esme Market has been put on the agenda by Councilor Selena Reyes, and I make that as a formal motion to order a public hearing.
Second.
Motion has been made and has been properly seconded by Councilor De La Cruz. Any discussion?
Yes, Council President.
De La Cruz.
Yes, I just wanted to remind that when they put a handicap a parking sign, that they have to put two signs, because one sign is not enough to understand whoever is giving a ticket or to whoever is complaining. They need two signs instead of one, where they're gonna make the division for the 15 minutes. Do you understand my concern? Okay.
Thank you, Councilor De La Cruz. Councilors, is there anyone else who wishes to be heard? Okay. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Vice President Marco Plant,
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez,
Yes.
Council Maria de la Cruz,
Yes.
Council Pavel Payano,
Yes.
Council Abdul,
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Council Ana Levy, Council Ana Levy,
I don't know what happened. Yes.
Council Stella Reyes,
Did you hear me?
Yes.
and Council President Candace Vasquez.
My vote is yes, the motion carries. Moving on, we have document 17620. Madam Chair from the Ordinance Committee.
It has been sent up with favor recommendation. It's going to be a stop sign on Lorraine Street, northbound drivers on Lorraine Street and Market Street has been put on the agenda by Councilor Vice President Mark LaPlante. It came out with favor recommendation to order a public hearing, and I made that as a formal motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and it has been second. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Question.
Councilor Estela Reyes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Question, yeah. This is District F,
Yes, Councilor Rodriguez, that's District F.
you know,
Councilor Rodriguez.
just want to make sure that Councilor LaPlante knows that we can actually say something about other districts if it is in regard to traffic.
Thank you, Councilor Rodriguez. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Mr. Clerk.
Councilor Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Ana Levy.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor David Abdu.
Yes.
Councilor Pavel Payano.
Yes.
Councilor Maria de la Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez.
Of course, yes.
Council Vice President Marco Plant.
Yes.
And Council President Vasquez.
My vote is yes. The motion carries. Okay, now moving on to document 19120. Madam Chair from the Ordinance Committee.
Document 191-20 is a handicap parking at 69 Boswood Street. It came out with favor recommendation to order a public hearing, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and it has been properly seconded by Councilor de la Cruz. Any discussion? Seeing there's none, Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Council Vice President Marco Plant.
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez.
I vote on the affirmative. Yes.
Council Maria de la Cruz.
Yes.
Council Pavel Payano.
Yes.
Council David Abdu.
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes. Council Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Thank you. Council Ana Levy.
Yes.
And Council Stella Reyes.
Yes.
And Council President Vasquez.
My vote is yes. The motion carries. Now we have document 19420. Madam Chair from the Ordinance Committee.
It came out with the favor recommendation is the handicap parking at 12 Willow Street to order a public hearing, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and it's been properly seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Any discussion? Seeing there's none, all those in favor, please say aye. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Council Stella Reyes.
Yes.
Council Ana Levy.
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Council David Abdu.
Yes.
Council Pavel Payano.
Yes.
Maria de la Cruz.
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez.
Yes.
Council Vice President Marco Plant.
Yes.
And Council President Vasquez.
Yes. The motion carries. Moving on, we have document 21120. Madam Chair from the Ordinance Committee.
211-20 is a redesignation of bridge on South Union Street at South Broadway Home Rule petition. It has been put on the agenda, I believe, by Councilor President Candice Vasquez and Mayor Dan Rivera. It came out with a favor recommendation to order a public hearing, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and it's been properly seconded by Councilor de la Cruz. Any discussion? Seeing there's none, Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Council Vice President LaPlante.
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez.
Yes.
Council Maria de la Cruz.
Yes.
Council Pavel Payano.
Yes.
Council David Abdu,
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Council Anna Levy,
Yes.
Council Stella Reyes,
Yes.
Council President Vasquez,
Yes, the motion carries. Document 21220, Madam Chair from the Ordinance Committee.
Document 212-20, it came out with a favor recommendation to order a public hearing. Also is the redesignation of bridge on South Union Street between Marcus Street. Hold on, I just lost my page. Between Market Street and Merrimack Street, home rule petition. It has been put on the agenda by Councilor President Vasquez and Mayor Rivera, and I make that as a formal motion to order a public hearing.
Second.
Motion has been made and it has been properly seconded by Councilor De La Cruz. Any discussion? Seeing there's none, Mr. Clerk, roll call please.
Council Stella Reyes,
Yes.
Council Anna Levy,
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Council David Abdu,
Yes.
Council Pavel Payano,
Yes.
Council Maria de la Cruz,
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Marco Plant,
Yes.
Council President Vasquez.
My vote is yes, the motion carries. Moving on, we have document 22620. Madam
Yes.
Chair from the Ordinance Committee.
Thank you, Council President. It has been sent out with the favor recommendation is the disclosure by municipal employee of Front Martin, Captain of Fire Department to order. I don't think we need a public hearing for this.
No public hearing is necessary. That's correct.
No. So it came out with favor recommendation and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and properly seconded by Councilor Abdu. Any discussion?
Discussion real quick, Council President.
Council Vice President LaPlante.
I just want to acknowledge Mr. Martin for doing this every year. There's probably more city employees that are probably should be doing it but aren't. But he's setting a very good example by doing this, and I just want to let him know how much I appreciate him following the rules and doing it in this manner. So I just want to put those comments in the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Is there anyone else? Seeing there's none, Mr. Clerk, roll call please.
Council Vice President LaPlante,
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilor Maria de la Cruz,
Yes.
Council Pavel Payano,
Yes.
Council David Abdu,
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Council Anna Levy,
Yes.
Council Stella Reyes,
Yes.
and Council President Vasquez.
My vote is yes, the motion carries. Moving on, we have document 22720. Madam Chair from the Ordinance Committee.
It has been sent out with the favor recommendation. It's a singular wireless small cell installation application of 12 Beacon Ave. It's going to be at exiting pole. It came out with favor recommendation to order a public hearing, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and it has been properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing there's none. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Councilor Stella Reyes,
Yes.
Council Anna Levy,
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Council David Abdu,
Yes.
Council Payano,
Yes.
Council Maria de la Cruz,
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Marco Plant,
Yes.
and Council President Vasquez.
My vote is yes, the motion carries. Moving on, we have document 22720. Madam Chair from the Ordinance Committee.
It came out with the favor recommendation to order public hearing. It's a library literacy coordination. It has been put on the agenda by Fran Bonnet. We had the opportunity to speak with Mr.
Villa.
And also with my gosh, I forget his name. Well, he's gonna, but he came out with the favor recommendation to order a public hearing.
I'm just gonna chime in and say it was Mr. Nelson Boutin.
Nelson, wow.
Give proper credit as well. My apologies.
I hope that this is not coming out in public, that I forget his name.
Second.
Motion has been made and it's been properly second. Any discussion?
Council President?
Yes, Councilor de la Cruz.
Yes, when Ms. Villa did the presentation for the library, we considered that it's an amazing idea to have a coordinator for the library. We wish that one day they can have that person full time because they're going to be serving Lawrence Public Schools. Then this is a plus to our community to have a grant facilitating that opportunity, but we need to continue and to get more money to open it up to not only the public schools, but all the schools that we have around the city.
Thank you, Councilor de la Cruz. Is there anyone else? Seeing there's none, Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilor Vice President LaPlante.
Yes.
Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor Maria de la Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Pavel Payano.
Yes.
Councilor David Abdu.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Ana Levy.
Yes.
And Councilor Stella Reyes.
Yes.
And Council President Vasquez.
My vote is yes, the motion carries. Okay, moving on, we have document 23020. I mean, yes. Mr. Chair from the Housing Committee.
Give me 1 second.
Councilor Rodriguez.
So, Council President, can we go back on this? Let me just check my notes on this. Very quick.
Okay, we'll move on to charter review committee reports. Is document 2620. Mr. Chair from the charter review.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, first let me say that hopefully you guys are able to hear me okay. I've been having some Wi-Fi issues. Hopefully with my video down, things will work better. So for the past year, the Charter Committee has been meeting to discuss this issue. I want to start off, we're presenting this as a committee report. I want to start off by thanking the members of the committee, Councilor LaPlante, Councilor Estela Reyes, Councilor Rodriguez, and also Council President Vasquez for stepping in when we were out of quorum. Together, I think we were able to really study the charter in depth, more than I thought we would. There's a lot of great conversations that were had. There's still some matters that are being researched by the city attorney, but we thought that we're sending it up to the council. I think the council president might be sending it to the ordinance committee for them to have a vote as well. But we thought it was, we essentially did as much research and work on the charter as we could, and to ensure that it was that it's approved in proper time. We ended up sending it forward. There's a couple of items that the city attorney is going to be that is researching and will be presenting at the ordinance committee. I myself will be there to ensure that if there are any questions about what the committee was thinking about, I'll be able to answer that.
Thank you very much, Councilor Bayano. Greatly appreciate the support and the work that has been done in the Charter Review Committee. Very grateful for all the work that all committee members have done. But I do see a hands up by Council Vice President LaPlante.
No, thank you, Council President. I just want to take a moment to thank Councilor Payano for his work. He actually led us through the year. He was very organized and thoughtful, and made sure that all opinions were addressed, heard, and then brought to for discussion. And so I thought that he did an outstanding job, and I just want to thank him for one more task that we all had to deal with, but he led that task, and it was very admirable. And thank you very much to that councilor for his work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilors or Mr. Clerk, was there a second to the motion by Councilor Payano to accept the subcommittee report?
On the motion.
Motion has been second by, I believe, Councilor Rodriguez now. Councilor, so this is a two-step process, if possible, so we can definitely move ahead. We get the opportunity every 10 years to review the city charter. And I am very proud of the work that has been accomplished as a group. In order to do this, the ordinance committee has to make the recommendation. So not the actual charter review committee that was established by myself earlier this year. As you know, that's a committee that will only last until the end of this year. So they have essentially finished their work. But if any additional work is necessary, it will need to be conducted at the ordinance committee level, where a recommendation will be made. So we also have to order a public hearing for the document. I don't know if councilors wish to order the public hearing tonight or wait for the recommendation from ordinance. I am open to.
Council President, I move to order a public hearing.
So there's pending the report from the ordinance committee.
Correct.
Okay. So there is a motion to order a public hearing tonight, pending a report from the ordinance committee.
And I second it.
And motion has been second. If there's no questions or discussion,
I have a question.
Yes.
Council President, what is the input that we can add to the report before it gets to be submitted to the ordinance committee? Are we allowed to make comments or recommendations?
So at the ordinance committee, you are allowed to make any adjustments if necessary, if you think that they are necessary. So essentially what the charter review committee did is do all the behind the scene work to make it easier for the ordinance committee to have a finalized version to be presented to the council, because the final version should come, according to our rules of, in the charter, they should come from the ordinance committee. So as a result of that, that's why tonight I'll be sending it. You could make any recommendations that you think are necessary at that level. So it's not a problem. Recommendations can be made. And again, the charter review committee is presenting a recommendation for review purposes. It's not essentially what we have to vote on. So it's a recommendation that has been made.
Mr. President.
Councilor Levy.
Do we need to send it also to the city attorney for review? Any changes that has been done in the review?
The city attorney has been reviewing the documents that have been presented, essentially as they go through them and making recommendations if necessary. So she's very well versed on what the recommendations are for the council. Any additional changes, there's a couple of things that need to be finalized that she is working on in her department. But any changes that are presented from now onto the final vote, we will present it to her to ensure that we do it the proper way. But so far, she's been very actively engaged in the process.
Council President.
Yeah, Councilor Payano.
Thank you, Council President. So just to add to that, I also want to thank the City Attorney's Office and our clerk for the entire session was Felix, and I think they both did an incredible job helping us through this. But on that point, if any counselor is interested in learning more about the conversations that were made, you can look at you can ask Teresa for the minutes of the Charter Committee, and it will guide you, because for every line item, in the chart, for every section in the Charter Committee read it and had a in-depth discussion around that topic. So you're able to, through the minutes, you're able to read through sort of what our thought frame was and if votes were taking on those matters. Because it could be that, I think, the counselors that were there and Council President brought forth a lot of ideas. So there's a possibility that an idea that you might be thinking of was talked about. So you will at least get to see the discussion points around that. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilor Payano. Councilors, any other questions or comments? Seeing there's none, Mr. Clerk, roll call for order in the public hearing.
Council Stella Reyes,
Yes.
Council Ana Levy,
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Council David Abdu,
Yes.
Council Pavel Payano,
Yes.
Council Maria de la Cruz,
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Marco Plant,
Yes.
and Council President Vasquez.
My vote is yes. The motion carries. This document is going to the Ordinance Committee.
Point of parliamentary inquiry, Council President.
Council Vice President.
When is your intention to hold a public hearing?
Ordinance, when is your next meeting, Madam Chair?
Is going to be next Tuesday if everyone is available. So we have to make sure. So next Tuesday, I will say it's going to be the 8th.
So let's do this. In order to ensure that we don't rush it. I know that we discussed at the beginning of the year to finalize everything by December 31st. However, I want to ensure that we do everything the proper way, that everyone is given the ample opportunity to provide an opinion, as this is a very important subject. The committee, the Charter Review Committee, as it is, will expire December 31st. But the discussion at the Ordinance Committee level could go into the new year to ensure that the city attorney provides anything that is missing. And so we could go into January. I would say January 5th will be let's take that day off to celebrate the New Year's. Let's do January 19th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So January 19th will be our next regular council meeting. Or not the first regular council meeting in the year 2021. So for January 19th.
Yeah.
So we should be expecting from the Ordinance Committee a report back between now and a month and a half.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Does that sound fair, councilors?
Yeah.
See a lot of money? Okay, good.
A lot, plenty time to do the reading and the reading.
So that gives everybody plenty of time to ensure that we are all on the same page and we understand the process. Okay? So it's now in the Ordinance Committee. Mr. Chair from Housing, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, document 23020.
Yes, document 23020. Okay, let me go back. It's a request to amend the conditions and the restrictions on 1416 Trim Street. This item, just to recap, it was sold by the city last year to a former city councilor, Brian De Peña. And the conditions were to, part of the condition were for him to be putting together the lot that is in between, well, the street that is in between the two his parcels. So that wasn't possible. So what we're doing is to keep it separate, and that way he can use this lot to be part of his project, construction project, 6 units, and this is going to be used for parking. This is specific lot. So that way he'd be able to use it. That was the recommendation. The recommendation for it was favorable with an unanimous vote to be sent to the full council, and I'm going to make that as a form of a motion.
Second.
The motion has been made and it has been seconded by Councilor Levy. Any discussion?
Discussion.
Discussion, Councilor LaPlante.
Very brief. I end up supporting this at the Housing Committee. I'll be supporting it this evening. Part of the reason why I'm supporting it tonight is my concern that if we don't allow for more parking at that place, that it may go to somewhere else for some other reason, and then there'd be more units being created over there. And I think that's the last thing we need in the city. So my vote tonight is for that place, for that parking, which we desperately need throughout the city, and I'm going to be supporting it tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
And yes,
any other discussion?
I have a question. Mr.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes, Mr. Rodriguez. You said they're going to build 6 units, and they're going to use parking as well for every unit.
The parcel, this parcel that was previously owned by the city of Lawrence is going to be used for parking as part of the project.
Or just parking, no housing?
No, I mean, all the parcel that is across the street from this specific one that we're talking about is big enough to hold a building of 6 units. This side of the parcel, this other parcel that we're discussing tonight is going to be for parking as part of the project of the 6 units.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Rodriguez. Any other questions or comments, councilors? Seeing there's none, Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Council Vice President Mark LaPlante.
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez. Could you hear me?
Councilor Rodriguez.
I said yes. I said yes.
Oh. Council Maria De La Cruz.
Yes.
Council Pavel Payano.
Yes.
Council David Abdu.
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Council Ana Levy.
Yes.
And Council Stella Reyes.
Yes.
Council President Vasquez.
I vote as yes, the motion carries. Now we have Public Safety Committee. Mr. Chair, from the Public Safety, document 90-7D20. Councilor Payano.
Thank you, Council President. The Public Safety Committee met last week, and we discussed 97B20 winter parking ordinance. Unfortunately, I don't see anybody from the administration that we can point to that might be able to help us through this discussion. But through it, one of the reasons that we sent this item to the full council was because we thought it was a matter that the full council should discuss. As you remember, about, I want to say 2 years ago, the city council voted to change our ordinance, our winter parking ordinance, to go from having to do alternate parking from December 15th to April 15th to doing alternate parking whenever the mayor declares a winter emergency and we outlined the process of declaring a winter emergency. One of them being that something would be sent to the city clerk, and the city clerk would send communications to the city council to help with the sort of advertising of when the, how long the winter emergency would be for. Last winter, that wasn't, we're still waiting for some clarification from the city attorney, but from the research that we've done, it does not look like that that ordinance was followed as far as giving notice to the city council. And also the winter emergency, I think that, and perhaps, at this point, I'm just speaking on myself. I don't know if other councils feel different, but the spirit in which we passed it was that this winter emergency wouldn't be for several months, but it would be for a few days. So an emergency would be a short time period. Last winter, it was used from, I think it was from November maybe till April. Fines were given, cars were towed. In our discussion with the director of DPW, Brian Pena, he made us aware, and if my committee members, if I'm saying the date wrong, please correct me. I believe that the start of the winter parking emergency, it starts this week. I believe the date was December 1st. There, when we asked questions whether they were going to follow, the notice set up by the ordinance, and also whether, why the thought frame was a winter emergency for 4 months instead of in short period, as we originally, when the discussion points was that during times where there was no snow, that people should be allowed to park on either side of the street. They essentially said, Director Pena wasn't able to speak on that, and he suggested that we speak with somebody from the mayor's office. So I'm bringing this up. We're bringing this up to the full council to see what the rest of the council would like to do with this matter.
Okay, the subject is open for discussion. Councilors, are there any questions or comments? Council Vice President LaPlante.
In your discussions through you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, were there any further discussion regarding the blue light designations?
There were some discussions on the blue lights, and it's a project that Director Pena is currently working on. I believe that he mentioned that there were some reasons why there have been delays on it. And we talked about that in the next public safety meeting. We would have a further discussion on what those issues were.
And thank you. And through you again, Mr. President, just so I'm clear about what the request is, are you looking to try to craft an ordinance based on the discussion that we're about to have here right now? Or is there another, what's the goal this evening for this item?
So the goal was, well, one, informational for the rest of the council to be aware of the conversation that was had at the public safety meeting. And two, depending on how the council feels, to try to get a better understanding as to why the administration has is executing the ordinance as it's being executed. And perhaps that does mean that, if anybody feels strongly in difference to the way that it's being executed, or if there's holes in the that need to be clarified in the ordinance, that a further, a new ordinance gets put up. But we thought that, we should bring it to the full council just to start that conversation and see where the council would like to go with this.
Thank you.
Mr. Payán, I have a question.
Mr. President, thank you. I guess the only thing I think, we go through these ebbs and flows about these discussions. we get hit hard in about a month from now or 2 months from now when the snow hits, and then starting in July, no one cares about snow removal anymore. But there's this period that we get hit, right? And we're about to hit that season soon. My sense on this is all about behavior changing, making sure that we and our residents are parked in such a way where we can optimize the street clearing for public safety reasons, right? So if there's a way for us, but it also seems a little crazy, and I'm sure you discussed this, an 80-degree day in the month of, March or something, we're still doing requirements. There needs to be some common sense to these laws and when we change behavior. So I guess we would have to kind of go through it more systematically, and it sounds like you did a little bit at your committee level through you, Mr. President. So I'm eager to have this conversation because we're going to get hit, like I said, pretty soon on it.
So through you, Council President. So,
Councilor Payano.
Thank you. So I think the issue that we have forth is not that because of, perhaps there might be reason that the ordinance that we put in place couldn't be executed. If that was the case, then the proper way to execute it would be to stick with the old law, which was December 15th to April 15th. I know during the last period, a lot of people were confused as to what was going on, and they would ask us questions. Unless we heard from, I know that there was a lot of confusion throughout as to what the right process was and what they were going to follow. We now know what the process will be for this year, which essentially is to declare from December to April an emergency. So the question is, is the council fine with that, or should a discussion be had to change the ordinance so it's more specific, so that the incoming administration won't be able to circumvent the ordinance to do this? Now, I will say that my discussions with the former director of DPW, when we worked together with this ordinance, it was a compromise. What the DPW was looking for was to be able to have alternate winter parking before December 15th. Basically, anytime it snowed, they wanted to be able to force residents to switch sides. Now, my conversation with him was, well, if we do that, then I think that the compromise, if the residents are giving up the opportunity to park on either side, then, the city should also allow them to park, on either side when it's not snowing. So that was the compromise that I feel like we reached, with the council and administration. But what we're getting right now is essentially what DPW wanted without the compromise that they made with the city council, if that makes sense.
Just as a point of information, it is my understanding that the mayor did submit with the clerk the notice. Maybe we did not, because I remember, so maybe it was not shared with everyone. So it is my understanding that it was submitted. So
Council President.
Yep.
So it might be that it was, I don't know about this year. It could be this year. I think I do know that when Director Pena informed us of, sort of like how winter parking would go this year, it was new information for us. But according to the, when I asked the city clerk early, late 2019, and also the city attorney in our last meeting, she said that with her discussions with the city clerk, that they couldn't find any documents showing notice.
Something we could look into, yes. I think this is something that we could definitely look into. But I think we had two more, if I'm not mistaken, 2 or 3 councilors that had some questions as well. I think Councilor Reyes, Estela Reyes.
Yes, but I think Councilor De La Cruz was before me, so I don't know if you should want to go ahead and ask the question.
Councilor De La Cruz, do you have a question?
Yes, I think
Thank you, Councilor Reyes.
We need to really study this case, this document, because it is a lot of confusion. When somebody called me, where should I park? I don't know how to say. I don't know what to say, because in the other side, but we need more signs and we need more clarification for the public. And we also need to advertise what's going to happen starting December 15. How people are getting to know about this information. They just guessing that it's from December 15 to April 15. I think we should have a way to let people know that that is going to happen. Then communication is the key. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor de la Cruz. Councilor Estela Reyes.
Thank you, Councilor President. Councilor Payano. I don't know where we're gonna go with this, but if you need me to be part of this, which I've been willing to from the day one, because on the north side, it's really congested at the nighttime, and especially when nothing is going on. I don't think it's fair for our residents just to continue to be parking only one side of the street when they can use both. If the city is not gonna do any plowing, they're not gonna be putting any salts or anything. So if you want to set up a meeting with DPW director, that we can have a better understanding and bring it back to the city council level, I'm more than happy to be part of that, because I did get a lot of call last year about the same issue, which I believe hopefully this year we don't get that many, but if it happened the same, it's the same thing. So yes, we understand that we need communications just to kind of educate a little bit more our community. But I think it's something needs to be done.
Councilor Reyes.
Councilor Estela Reyes. Councilor Payano.
Thank you, Council President. Councilor Reyes, I would gladly set up that meeting. I think it would be important to see, reach out to the director of DPW to see if he can also get someone from the mayor's office, because he sort of made it clear that how the winter parking ordinance is being executed is not a DPW not mandates, so DPW is not in charge of that. That the mayor's office has directed DPW how to follow that ordinance.
But if that is the case, then so we have to go in and meet with the proper group, and just to kind of go and move them.
Yep. So I'll do my best to set that up.
Thank you.
Did I see Councilor Levy have questions earlier or no? Okay. Is there anyone else? Councilor Payano, at this point, what would you like to do with the item?
So I'd like to make a motion to table the item.
Motion to table has been made.
Second.
It has been properly second. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilor Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Ana Levy.
Councilor Ana Levy.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor David Abdu.
Yes.
Councilor Pavel Payano.
Yes.
Councilor Maria Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez.
Yes.
Council Vice President Marco Plant.
Yes.
And Council President Vasquez.
My vote is yes, the motion carries. Okay, now moving on. We have withdrawals. Document 2-1818 is HIV search in Lawrence update. It was placed on the agenda by Councilor Payano. Is there a motion to withdraw?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made by Councilor Payano. It has been seconded by Councilor Estela Reyes. Any discussion? Seeing there's none, Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilor Vice President Marco Plant.
Yes.
Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor Maria de la Cruz. Councilor Maria de la Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Pavel Payano.
Yes.
Councilor David Abdu.
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Council Anna Levy,
Yes.
Council Stella Reyes,
Yes.
and Council President Vasquez.
My vote is yes. The motion carries. We have document 25919. It's church parking only. Church of Christ, 63 Village Street. Ms. Councilors, is there a motion to withdraw?
Second.
So moved.
Motion has been made by Councilor Estela Reyes. It was second by Councilor Anna Levy. Any discussion? Seeing there's none, Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Council Stella Reyes,
Yes.
Council Anna Levy,
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Council Abdul,
Yes.
Council Payano,
Yes.
Council Maria de la Cruz,
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Marco Plant,
Yes.
and Council President Vasquez.
My vote is yes, the motion carries. Okay, moving on, councilors. Is there any table matters that we should take off the table at this point? Okay, seeing there's none, moving on to new business. We have document 24320. It's a handicap parking at 74 Bennington Street, going down to the ordinance committee. Document 24420, handicap parking at 216 Walnut Street, is going down to the ordinance committee. Document 24620 is request authorization to spend OVW grant funds on the amount of $257,500 is going down to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 24720 is a request authorization to spend lead hazard control and healthy home grant funds on the amount of $1.5 million is going down to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 24820 request authorization to spend grant funds from EEOA $400,000 phase 2 renovation of Storo Park is going down to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 25220, City Council salary review. That's an ordinance. That's going down to the Ordinance Committee. Document 25320, handicap parking to be deleted at 86 South Broadway, going down to the Ordinance Committee. Document 25420, discontinuance of Concord and Bradford Street between Hampshire and Amesbury Street. It's going down to the Housing Committee. Document 25620, acceptance of grant funds up to $39,718 is going down to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 25720, acceptance of grant funds up to $224,000 is going down to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 25820 is acceptance of grant funds on the amount of $995,000 is going down to the Budget and Finance, up to $995,000 is going down to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 25920, acceptance of grant funds up to $294,000 is going down to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 26020, acceptance of grant funds up to $195,000 is going down to the Budget and Finance Committee. Document 26120, acceptance of grant funds up to $39,573 is going down to the Budget and Finance Committee. Councilors, is there anything else that you wish to address? Seeing there's none, Mr. Vice President and Chair of the Budget and Finance Committee, when is your next meeting?
Yeah, there's a lot. Looks like next Wednesday, the 9th.
Wednesday, December 9th.
And keeping in mind as well, we've got a meeting on the 7th. Is that right?
We have a committee of the whole on the 7th.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Chair from Personnel.
Mr. President, we don't have any items of personnel at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Chair from Housing.
If that's all right with the members, I would like to do 6:30 on the 7th. 30 minutes and then and then after that, committee of the whole.
Housing on the 7th at 6:30.
It works for me.
Okay. Madam Chair from the Ordinance Committee.
Next Tuesday, which is December 8th, if everyone is going to be available.
Tuesday, December 8th.
Reyes, Councilor Levis, Councilor Maria de la Cruz. That day works for you? Yes.
Yep. Okay. So I have public safety.
Council President, we have no items at this time.
Okay, thank you. Councilors, is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
So moved.
Motion has been made by Councilor de la Cruz.
Second.
It has been seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Any discussion? Since there's none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Have a good night, councilors.
Roll call vote, Council President.
That's right. Roll call vote. Mr. Clerk, Mr. Vice President, thank you.
Welcome.
Council Vice President Marco Plant,
Yes.
Council Giovanni Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilor Maria de la Cruz,
Yes.
Council Pavel Payano,
Yes.
Council David Abdul,
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Council Ana Levy,
Let me think about, but yes.
Council Stella Reyes,
Yes.
and Council President Vasquez.
My vote is yes. The motion carries. Have a wonderful night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.